Hey everybody, welcome back to Easel Does It Studio Paintings. So, I don't know if you can see it, but I've just lightly sketched like a barn. So I wanted to get that in so that I kind of, like had my perspectives right and the size wise. So we're gonna put some sky in, get that done. We're gonna put some foliage on the sides and down at the front, probably put a fence. I don't know. But I knew I wanted to do a barn. And I did draw a light. I kind of put it upside down just to be something different. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. So let me get you back down here so you can see. And I've just used a styrofoam you get from Mead. I washed it. So I have got Windsor blue, cadmium yellow, Hooker's green. This is a Naples yellow hue, brown, and black. So that is what is on my palette for colors. And if I pick up anything else, I will let you know. So this is acrylic, guys. This is an acrylic one. So I just wet my brush a little bit, and we're going to go, oh, and I'm going to put white too. I wanted to put white on here and I forgot. So I'm just going to go ahead and get some white on there. And we're going to go into the blue. And we're just going to start getting our sky color in. And let's see, I'm going to probably... I'll probably bring the sky down to about here. And it's okay if I go over, my lines. I'm just trying to get, I was going to go with a lighter sky and do like a sunny scene, but I want to be able to do an illumination of the light. So that's one of the reasons that I'm putting in a little bit darker of a sky. So it's gonna kind of be almost like a night-ish sky. On this side here, we'll probably have some trees. So I'm going to bring the sky down to about there. And then once I do my barn, I can just kind of bring it back to whatever size I want. Because I might actually make it a little bit bigger. But if you have a focal point that you're really working on, and if you can just kind of sketch it in, it sometimes helps. I usually will get my whole sky done and then put my building in. And I'm just trying different things, different ways of doing it. So I just picked up a little bit of water on my brush to help this smooth out a little bit better. A little bit more here. So our weather has finally got back to like normal temperatures, 30s and 40s during the day. So it is a little bit I do want this side to be darker here. I mean, I didn't want a black sky, but I also didn't, I want it to look, like it's nighttime. so that is looking pretty good. And we will definitely be putting some stars up there. Maybe a few clouds. So let me just grab a small filbert brush here. And I'm just going to pick up a little bit of white. And we're just going to make like a few where this blue is still wet. Now I have not used any medium. It's just that paint is still a little bit wet. So it's just allowing us to kind of blend that right in there. And just add in a few little somethings in there. Just wet my brush just so I can just kind of get that to blend a little bit. Now it's maybe not quite dusk or dawn yet, so we're starting to see some of those clouds up in the sky. Once we get it all together, then if we need to adjust, we can. Just getting something in there for now. All right, so I'm gonna go back with my big brush and we're gonna get like a roof in. I'm gonna go in with black first and then we will we'll finish getting the barn done. So this part's easy. It's just, coloring inside the lines. So I know I have a few new people that are, just starting. So I'm trying to pick something that, anybody could paint. So it's somewhat simple, you know what I mean? But yet still give you a beautiful painting and also teach you a few of my techniques. Like I said, I don't paint like a lot of the other painters. I developed my own style, which is a good thing because you want your own, you know, and when I first started, believe me, I watched a lot of different artists, and I would try their way, and I would try their way, and sometimes it would work, and sometimes it wouldn't work. But when I just decided to figure out, okay, how can I achieve that same look? And it was just a lot of trial and error, using different brushes. All right, so that is pretty much our, you know, and sometimes your images, they just grow. It happens. I'm going to tell you that. It just happens. All right, so I'm going to go with my same dirty brush and a little bit of white, and we're just going to start pulling some of that down. And that is hopefully going to give us that you know, like kind of weathered roof look. You know, and if you go out of your lines a little bit, that's fine. We can fix that after. Because with acrylics, there's definitely lots of layers in order to really get the colors to pop. And I'm leaving this a little bit darker in there so that when we go and we put our browns on, there's already going to be a little bit of a shadow in there. So I'm just trying to, you know, get that. And then I definitely need my line. Like I said, we'll probably end up going over that again. I just want to get my base colors in at the moment. All right, so let's go ahead and let's get our brown on our building. And we're gonna put little lines through this building here. And I'm just gonna go over my light. And sometimes by just kind of etching that in there, then I know that it's gonna look okay. And then I can just redo it after. And when I've been painting with oil, it definitely takes me a little bit to get back into my acrylics because they work so different. All right, we're just gonna we can just put a bush where we went out there, not a big deal. And that's it, guys. Don't stress over, you know, trying to get it completely perfect. Basically, I just want my first layer to make sure that my canvas is covered. And I'm going out a little further than I originally did, so I can line it up back to my roof. Because as you paint, your images that you're putting in will grow. You know, you've got the width of your brush, how much pressure you're putting on your brush, how much paint, all of that plays into it. So at least it's starting to look like a barn now. So before I go and I put all of my details in, I'm going to switch brushes here. Let's see, I'm gonna try a wider, just a flat brush, but this is a number 12. And while that paint is still wet, I'm just gonna see how this is going to like pull across. Because I definitely want to get that darkness underneath here. And all right, I'm gonna need an old brush. I'm just gonna get some dark areas in, you know, like when wood is like really old, it has like really dark areas in it. So that's kind of what I'm just so we're getting a little bit of a weathered look here. And I'm just going to wet my brush and trying to move that over a little bit. Because underneath this roof in here would definitely be shadowed from the roof. All right. Let me see if I can find an old brush that, oh, maybe this. I've got these. These are specialty brushes. See how there's little lines through it? Now, I'm just trying to think of which way I want my lines to go. Do I want my boards going this way, or do I want my boards going this way? I'm gonna go in with a lighter color and see how that looks. And that is that Naples yellow hue. Just got a little bit of paint on here, not a ton. So I'm just getting it in the edges. And a very light touch. Now I've seen times when I first started, because I didn't know what color did I want the boards, what color, you know, did I want my lines. So I do it one way, and if I didn't like it, I would just paint over it and do it the opposite way. So, you know, there's always, if you do something and you don't like it, just let it dry or dry it off and then paint over it. Now you could put all of your, like your door in and all that first, but you can also do it this way. And I find sometimes by doing it this way, when you do put your door in, you know, it looks like the boards are going behind the door instead of up to the door. So it's just finding, you know, what works better for you. So this is just adding that little bit of lightness to it. We can always add a lot more details into this as well. All right, so we'll see how that looks as we progress. All right, so let me just take, so what I ended up doing is I just put all of my new brushes, my Nick Pro brushes, in one container. All right, so now I'm going to go back into the black with this number 4 angled brush, and let's see, we're gonna get our bond divided here. I'm just pulling like that shadow, whatever's left in that line. I'm just kind of because I'll probably go over the roof again. This is just like that initial getting that in place. And sometimes it's harder for me because of the angle when I'm trying to film this and not get in the way. And I know in my classes, the thing that most people do is they either have too much paint on their brush or not enough. It's trying to get that, that little bit of balance. And it comes in time. Okay, so let's get our beam going across here. So I am going to make this a little bit wide because obviously to me it would be a beam, not just you know, a division, because this is a barn. And if it's not perfectly straight, it don't matter. It's a, you know, it's an old barn. I'm sure that things have shifted and moved and all of those things. Let's see. And we're going to get our door in. All right. All right, got that in. I'll let that dry. All right, so now we've got to figure out, well, before I do anything, I'm going to go back in with that small liner brush, and we're going to just kind of fix up our roof here. Okay. And I'm going to lock that down. I got to invest in a new easel because this one is like getting a wobbly. All right, now I'm going to take a little bit bigger filbert brush, probably a number 12. Hang on, I gotta open a soda. And it's warm because it was one that I had down here from the other day, but that's okay. So I do want a little bit of greenery coming out from behind the barn. So I'm just gonna go in and just kind of getting just so there's like a bush behind there, tree, and you can't see the trunk. And so we got a little bit of black up here, so we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to put like the tip of a tree, and I am just lightly tapping. But you don't want your tree to be like all one shape. You know what I mean? You gotta, they've gotta have like pieces sticking out. We'll go in and we will give it a little bit of a lighten. I'm just trying to get them in right now. Let's see. And let's see, we'll probably have another tree over here. And I'm just going to bring that right down to that roof line. Like it's a nice big full tree. Okay. Let's see, we'll do another one over here. All right, I'm gonna have to go back in with some of that blue and bring that down, because if I don't, this part of the tree is definitely going to be lighter, and I don't want that. So I'm just going to kind of blend that in a little bit. And we'll let that dry. All right, so I'm going to go in with just, I'm just going to mix some yellow into that green right on the brush. I didn't wash it. And that is definitely too bright. So I'm just going to go back in with some of the dark color. And then with whatever's left, I'm just bringing that down. I mean, I want it to look, you know, like it's a tree, but I don't want it to be like bam in, you know, in our face, because this is some sort of an evening something photo. So you still want it to be a little bit dark, but and then once we know we got the roof and stuff finished off, I'll add a few of these branches onto the building so we can kind of give that a little bit of a roundness to it. And I like barely have any paint on my brush, guys. This way here, it stands out, but yet it's still dark. You know what I mean? All right, so I'm gonna go back in with this dark. And let's get all right, so we've got something going in our background. So we've got to get some sort of a ground in. So let's, what are we going to do? What are we going to do for a ground here? So I'm going to take the burnt umber and the Naples yellow, and just kind of mix those together. And let's see. You know, maybe this is, you know, part of a, where the animals kind of go out, you know, like a corral or something. I don't know. All right, I'm just going to go to a bigger filbert brush. And I'm going to pick both of those colors up on my brush at the same time. Yeah, this is... just get some ground going there too. And then we can just kind of make everything blend in after. You know, sometimes I pick up a little bit more of the darker color, sometimes more of the lighter color. It don't matter because it's just giving us that ground cover look. And then, you know, we're going to put different things on the ground. You know what I think I'm going to do with this, which I've never done this before, but this is going to be like a fence, like standing this way. So we'll put little lines in that. So it's one of those, like, I don't know, privacy, stockade fences or whatever. We'll put that there. Maybe it's a gate to get out back. Who knows? So let's do the same on this side. I'm just gonna... Okay. And I'm just picking that lighter color up. Just trying to get like that entrance into the barn here a little bit. And we'll probably end up putting grass here, but for now, let me, all right, I'm gonna go in with the dark, just the darker brown and see, I'll start on this side to see how it, I'm just gonna pick up a little bit of black. Oh, that was dumb. All right, I'm just gonna mix that brown and the black, and let's... I'm just going to go back in with some darker color here. Maybe this side is like a different type of a fence. Maybe it's more rickety. All right, so I haven't decided yet if I want it to look like the barn is just open, which we could do by, I just put very little bit of white on my brush, but if we, then it kind of looks like that's open going in. I think I like that. I think I like that. Okay, leave it like that. That kind of looks cool. All right, so this one's going to be a little longer, guys, because we're almost at an hour already. So, sorry, you'll have to bear with me. All right, so I'm just kind of going over. Gotta keep track of the time because I've got to go meet somebody to drop off a painting that they bought. All right, I like that better dark. So let's get, all right, let's get some greenery down in the bottom here. So I'm going to take green and black, or even green and brown, just to give us a nice dark green. And so I'm just starting to get a little bit of like something around the building. All right, and I'm just, and the reason I'm putting these two like bushes a little bit brighter is because when we put that light in, and then we'll maybe add a few little brighter spots there. But let's do the same on the other side. All right, so I'm just gonna pull this. And by having that other color, that sand color underneath there, it just kind of helped give us that under color. All right. And I'm just gonna bring that like that. And actually, let me give the ground a little bit more of a highlight. So it's a different hue so that everything will look right. All right, and I'm going to take that dark color and let's see. We'll put another little something there. bit of yellow. And that will dry a little bit darker. So I'm gonna pick up that yellow, but a little bit more, kind of like what we did in the trees, just so that this is kind of a different flavor. All right, let's wash this. This is coming off. I'm gonna have to glue this. All right, so I'm gonna go back into the light brown, well, the Naples yellow, and was just gonna start getting us some gonna wipe that off and just pick up some plain brown. All right. Okay, so let's take this flat brush. Let me get a little bit more black here. And we're going to you know, maybe that's where they throw the hay up in there. All right, my window here is crooked. All right, so that, I can work with that. It's whatever is left in my brush. Just getting some darker you know, like it's an old steel roof. All right. So let's get a fence going in here. All right. Actually, let me just take a little bit of black and give a shadow side. I'm just going to make these ones a little bit wider. And just going to go back over it now with the brown. So it'll make that brown stand out more because it's got that dark color behind it. Okay. And let's just that one definitely needed to go up higher so that I could bring my rails. And I'm just going to go over that with the brown. All right, so let me take a little liner brush so we can get our little light in, because that's dry now. All right, so, and that's all dry. We're going to go in with that Naples yellow first. And we're just going to color this in. And we're going to just add a little bit of yellow now. So this is the cadmium yellow going over the Naples yellow. Okay, so I'm going to let that dry for a bit. And let's add a little bit of highlights onto the fence. So I got both colors on my brush here. And we're just gonna so that some of that light would definitely be, you know, illuminating on some of these on some of these fence posts. Maybe not all of them. So we'll just have to add some brown to that yellow just to you know, would be catching a little something, but maybe not a whole ton. All right. So now I'm going to take a little bit of that yellow and white and we're going to make that spot in the center a little bit brighter. And okay. Now I'm going to take my liner, my smaller angled brush, and we are going to, I'm gonna have to get some clean water because I don't want my light, so basically what I'm trying to do is make like a wash. And then I'll just go back over my light with the black. And I'm just using my wet brush here. Just get a little bit more clean water on my, some yellow. Alright, I think that's looking good. Alright, so now I'm just going to kind of crisp up some of my lines. And all right. I think. Straighten up our lines here a little bit. All right, so maybe what I should do is make a light gray for the trim on the windows in the yeah, I think that just kind of breaks it up just a little bit. You know, maybe those are like the bars, I don't know, for like horses or something. They can get some air, but yet it's not too much. All right, guys. I think we're gonna call it. I'm just going to take a little bit of the two ground colors that we had, and let me loosen this up a smidge. Oh, we gotta put some stars too. I forgot. time. So let me take a blue and I'm going to assign this right over here. And that is our illuminated little scene for today. All right, so let's just get a few little stars in the sky. I'm just gonna wet my paintbrush and I'm going to stick it in some white and blue so that they're not too you can see the stars or not. All right, let me do it with just some white. So I just make it very, very watery. And just take a few of the bigger ones. And let's put a sparkle on that light. Yeah, that looks good. Alrighty, guys, that does it for this one. I'm just gonna wet my brush here and kind of blend my little stars. There, I think that is good, guys. Just make sure all my brushes are clean here. All right. Alrighty, guys, I will see you on the next one. Bye.